Hello traders, Ace here. I'm going to make a live recording of an interesting setup that I've noticed on the pound Swiss. That's the GBPCHF 4-hour chart. The reason I turn on the camera for this one is because this is one of those setups that you don't see too often, and I think there's going to be a lot to learn from it. I am familiar with this setup as I have seen it in the past, and I know generally how to trade it. Whether I'm profitable or not will be another story. Alright, so stick around. Okay, here's what I'm looking at. Actually, first of all, let me just give you a brief overview of this pair. You will see that there is support at this zone right here. You'll notice a descending triangle with this steady base of support right here. And we know this is a descending triangle because we've got lower highs and the projected lower high to be there. This is the area of interest right here. The reason for that is because, as you notice, there's this major zone right here, this right here. If you notice this range, you'll see that price has really respected it in the future, and you also see that. So what I'm looking for, alright, yeah, so that's one of the reasons. Another reason is the major psychological number, the big round number of 1.6, and lastly there's the trendline resistance. Right, so a lot of people will to trade this descending triangle, they're actually going to wait for the triangle to be broken, followed by the retest, and then they're going to wait for that, which is fine. You know, I occasionally do that as well. What I'm going to try and do is get into the market a little bit early. I'll update this video once price gets there, if it gets there, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, here's an update. Price has moved into the area of resistance as projected. As you can see right here. So now what we've got to look for is how to trade this. Well, when I see this, I see two options. I could take the short position right now and place my stop loss above this high, so that would be 65 pips, or in other words 1% of my account. Second option is I can wait for the low of this bar to be taken out before I go short. Here's a little insight into my way of thinking. If you notice here before the break, you'll notice that there was a 2-bar consolidation before the bearish outside bar that triggered this down move. I have a sneaking suspicion that we're looking at similar movement right here. So what we might see is the 2-bar consolidation followed by the bearish outside bar here. My reasoning for that is mainly because we saw right here, you know, there was a consolidation before the break, and we're also at a major area of confluence. You know, keep in mind, don't use this logic when you're trading. I'm saying it simply because I've seen this type of price action several times in the past, right? You know, especially in these powerful areas of resistance. You know, I'm talking about way in the past as well, not just here. So I'll update this video once I've gotten into the trade. Alright, just making an update to say that I am in this short trade right now on my live account. I did decide to get into this a little bit early, stop loss above the high. I do have 2 accounts, so on my second live account I'll be getting short at the low of this bar. Now it's just a matter of waiting it. In terms of the target, the conservative target will be here, but I don't intend on taking my profits there because the idea of this descending triangle was to look for this kind of movement right here, followed by the breaks. So I will hold a position, and yeah, I'll just be updating it as throughout this video. Alright, here's an update. Price has moved down. My stop loss is at break even. You guys remember what I said earlier about this bar? Don't worry, it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes things just line up. But like I was saying earlier, we saw a similar price action here, the 2-bar consolidation followed by the bearish outside bar, the 2-bar consolidation followed by the bearish outside bar. So my stop loss is at break even. Now that we're back into the triangle, price will, you know, it'll sort of move in this fashion. I'm not completely sure when it will break, but what I do know is that my break even stop is at a fair distance away from this trend line. So as long as this triangle is respected, the stop shouldn't be hit. And what I'm looking for now is the break of this followed by the retest. Alright, here's an update. price hit the area of support, bounced off, and broke this low right here, which gave me my signal to move my stop loss above this high right here. So as of now, I've locked in 110 pips around on a 70 pip risk trade, so that's good. Now we're just gonna ride the trend down and sort of look for these areas of support, and then the break of that support to place my stop loss above that area. Okay, this is a very interesting price action right now. What you'll see, or what you would have expected at the break of the support, would have been the break followed by the retest and then the move down. However, in this case there was no retest, and that tells me that the downtrend is extremely powerful right now. So the way I intend on managing the stop right now is I'll move my stop onto the bar highs as they progress. So if this bar ends up closing low, then I'll move my stop loss above this bar. I move my stop loss above the high of this bar right here. Like I said earlier, if it closed below this bar, I would move it to the high, and that's exactly what I did. And I'll keep doing that until essentially I'm stopped out. As of right now, I'm up 250 pips at an initial risk of 70 pips. Alright, the trade is closed. Here's what I saw at the end. I saw a rejection of price right there, and I just moved my stop loss above this candle before it actually closed. You know, as far as I see it now, price is due for a little bit of retracement, so it's quite likely that this bar's high will most likely be taken out in the future. But anyway, so the trade is closed for a profit of 385 pips at an initial risk of 70 pips. It was a 1% risk of my account, and I made a little bit above 5%. You know, sometimes you're gonna find setups that have an extremely high percentage of winning. You know, I had a sense that this would be one of them. Like I said at the start of this video. After looking at charts day in and day out, you start to notice distinct patterns, and sometimes the charts just scream it out to you. So you know, I'm not saying I'm always right. Visit my blog, visit the James 16 thread, anywhere I post. You know, you'll find that some of my setups don't actually end up not working. Alright, I think I've talked for long enough. I hope this video was of some educational use to you. If you're watching this video on YouTube, remember to rate the video, hit the thumbs up button if you liked it, and subscribe for more. Alright, have any questions? Just post a comment and I'll get back to you. Alright, have a good one, you guys.